Hi, this is Hal with Muumba Web Digital FIFA World Cup 2026 series. Today I am focusing on coaching, and my first candidate is Coach Carlo Ancelotti. The leadership lessons behind Brazil's new journey. Our focus is on football, strategy, leadership, and lessons learned. The 2026 FIFA World Cup features 48 teams, 48 managers, and 1,248 players. But most of the attention naturally goes to the players. They score the goals, they make spectacular saves, and produce unforgettable moments that define this World Cup. But behind every team stands a leader, and behind every leader, there is a philosophy. Throughout this tournament, one of the people who has captured my attention more than any player is Brazil's coach, Carlo Ancelotti. This is not simply because he is coaching Brazil. It is because he demonstrates principles of business leadership that extend far beyond football. As I'm building my own business, I find myself studying him almost daily, not merely his tactics, but his leadership. Vision before validation. One lesson stands out above all others. Great leaders are driven by vision before they are validated by the results. When Carlo Ancelotti accepted the responsibility of coaching Brazil, he inherited more than a football team. He inherited the expectations of one of the most passionate football nations on earth. With more than 200 million people, millions of opinions, millions of expectations, every squad selection was questioned, generated a public debate. Why Casemiro? Why Danilo? Why Martinelli? Why leave Pedro out? Why bring Neymar back? Why doesn't Hendrik start every match? The criticism came from every direction, yet Ancelotti never appeared to coach according to public opinion. He coached according to his own convictions. The calm is a leadership skill. One quality I admire most is his composure. He rarely argues publicly. He doesn't feel the need to explain and justify himself. He doesn't appear to seek to defend every decision. Instead, he projects the calm confidence of someone who trusts his preparation, his staff, and the process that he has put in place. That calmness is spreading throughout the team. Players often perform at their best when they know their leader believes in them. And we can see that with Brazil. Ancelotti trusts the people he chose. Leadership is ultimately about people. Every leader eventually reaches the point where preparation must give way to trust. Ancelotti selected these players. Once he made those choices and selected them, he made a commitment to them. So when Martinelli scored the dramatic winner against Japan, it reminded all of us that leaders sometimes see qualities long before everyone else does. The same can be said for experienced players like Casemiro and Danilo. Public opinion often focuses on age. Great leaders focus on contribution. Experience is not the opposite of youth. It's one of its greatest partners. Another principle, winning requires discipline. One statement from Ancelotti has remained with me throughout this tournament so far. The mission is to win, not to entertain every minute, not to satisfy every commentator, not to chase popularity. Winning requires discipline, preparation, patience, sacrifice. Sometimes the right decision is not the most exciting decision. The same principle applies in business, in family, in marriages. Companies that endure rarely chase every trend. They build systems. They stay focused. They execute consistently. A third principle I'm learning from Ancelotti: flexibility without losing identity. One of the characteristics that separate outstanding leaders from merely good ones is adaptability. Brazil has changed formations, rotated players and personnel, adjusted tactics, managed player injuries and fitness, yet one thing has remained consistent: the mission. The objective has never changed, even when the methods evolved. That is strategic leadership. Strong enough to maintain direction, flexible enough to adjust the route. Another principle: leadership is measured in difficult moments. Anyone can lead when everything is going on well. The true test comes during criticism, uncertainty, and setbacks. Brazil's rebuilding has not been smooth so far. There have been difficult performances, questions from supporters, injuries, constant scrutiny, yet Ancelotti has continued moving forward without appearing distracted by the noise surrounding him and the team. That is not stubbornness, that's disciplined leadership. How about lessons beyond football? As I continue building my own business, I find these lessons increasingly relevant to my own business. Leadership is not about convincing everyone that you're right. It's about building a vision strong enough that others eventually see the results. Strategy is not reacting to every criticism. It is knowing which voices deserve attention and which simply create distraction. Success is rarely immediate. It is constructed one decision, one adjustment, one lesson, and one disciplined day at a time. Football has become the classroom. Leadership is the lesson. Business is where those lessons are applied. Perhaps that is why I continue watching Carlo Ancelotti so closely. Not because he coaches Brazil, but because he reminds me that the greatest leaders often speak the least, trust the most, remain calm under pressure, and never lose sight of the mission. The scoreboard may celebrate the players, but history often remembers the leaders who quietly built the team capable of winning. Let's go.